Hi, Junk Journal friends. I'm Stacy, and this is Junky Cat Junction. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I really appreciate your time. Today, I have a bolo book. And this is Bolo Books is a hashtag created by Angela, the Traveling Crafter. And I will link her channel below. And this is a way to search on YouTube for really cool books that we find either thrifting or out in the wild, estate sales, whatever. Books that we think would make great either pages in junk journals, junk journal fodder, all of the things for junk journals. So in the spirit of Halloween, I bring to you Creating Your Vintage Halloween, The Folklore, Traditions, and Some Crafty Makes by Marion Paul. A friend of mine had checked this book out from the library, and I was so smitten with it that I had to jump right on Thrift Books and find a copy. And I think I only paid, I don't know, maybe $5 or $6 for this book. It's not old, but it does have a lot of vintage and antique imagery in it. So, for instance, this would be an adorable fussy cut, as would these antique postcard reproductions. So this is from 2014. So again, not old, but doesn't have to be old to be super cool. So here we go. I'll just flip through it. I have not read it yet, but I fully intend to. So it's got, again, a lot of great imagery. A lot of it is vintage imagery or antique imagery. It kind of goes into the history of Halloween, which is really interesting. But then you have pages like this, which would make an amazing page in a journal, a Halloween journal. And there's a lot of imagery of these antique Halloween postcards. If you've never searched eBay for Halloween postcards, I recommend it. They are so cool and so interesting, and I have a very small collection of them myself. I primarily collect the postcards that have images of witches, because I just think they're the most interesting. Maybe at some point I'll show them. They're not close by, so I can't dig them out right this second. But anyway, so the book has all kinds of legends and stories and just everything that is related to Halloween. So there's a lot of text, which could be used in like backgrounds. I actually do have this postcard in real life. It is gorgeous. So yeah, and it has crafts in it, this book. Really cool illustrations, things to do for Halloween parties. Halloween quotations, pranks. Those are always fun. I mean, as long as they're good-natured and not mean-spirited. So yeah, I just thought I would flip through this book with you and see if this might be something you might also be interested in. For your either junk journaling or just Halloween crafts. But I will go through, I will turn every page because there are so many fun things in here. Front porch and yard decorations, scarecrows, vintage spookiness, gotta love it, jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkin carving, pumpkin festivals, but like even just this little half of the page, even with this quotation, Jack-o'-the-lantern, Joan of the Wood, Who tickled the maid and made her mad? Light me home, the weather's bad. Old rhyme from Cornwall, England. But anyway, that would make a cute tag with maybe an additional focal point on it. So yeah, pumpkin, like I said, pumpkin carving, trick or treat. Goes into the history of trick-or-treating. And candy, aw, that's a cute Halloween card. Things that have been given down through the years with children, or to children when trick-or-treating. I always hated getting like Starlight mints. And some people, when I was a kid, would give pennies, which, you know, at that time you could actually buy penny candy from the 7-Eleven or convenience stores. You can't do that anymore. But yeah, what was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below what your favorite thing to get was, candy-wise, trick-or-treating. I always loved, you know, Reese's, you know, the gold standards, Snickers, those sorts of things. And I would spend hours dumping out my Halloween candy and arranging them by type and seeing how many I had, taking an inventory of everything. That was most of the fun of it, was just inventorying the Halloween candy when I got home. Pumpkins. Caramel apples. So there's recipes too. Then symbols of Halloween. Oh my goodness, they look very scared. Black cats. I've got a bunch of those. These are all very cute images. Witches. I do not have that postcard. But one thing about Halloween postcards is that the more variety of images in the postcards, typically the better. So for instance, this has the witch, it has the broom, it has the black cat, and it has a moon. So that would make that a pretty desirable card. Yeah, since Halloween is my favorite, I just love flipping through these types of books. They're just so fun. Skulls and skeletons, fairies, goblins, and elves. Bats and spiders. Don't like spiders. If I find a spider in the house, might as well burn the whole house down. Not a fan. Harvest and the colors of Halloween. Divine superstitions. I know a lot of people aren't into Halloween, and that's totally fine. I do get it. But my family, my older sisters, and even my mom, they always made Halloween such a fun holiday when I was little, and all of my siblings were much older than I am. So, you know, they had more resources to make it fun for me, because they were all done trick-or-treating by the time I came along. So, yeah, it was always so fun. So I just have such fond memories of Halloween. And even though it's, you know, it can be spooky, and, you know, I'm not into horror movies or anything like that per se. But I do love the Halloween imagery and the, I don't know, just the nostalgia and fun of it all. Not the evil parts. So here's a bunch of indoor games, which is fun, you know, to learn these, because I have a bunch of grandkids, so we can perhaps partake of some of those. And then Halloween collectibles. There's probably, yeah, they talk about, yep, here they are, the Halloween postcards. Paper decorations. I don't know if you ever look any of this kind of stuff up online. Vintage Halloween is like vintage Christmas. All the kitschy things, the plastics, they are so expensive. I always try to find them in auctions or estate sales, but you got to get there early, and most of the time the sellers know what they have, so you're not always going to find a bargain. Here's another craft of a pumpkin trick-or-treat bag and some templates for a jack-o'-lantern. and the house and there's a witch costume, and then that's the end. But even this page, the flyleaf pages, are super cool with the witches flying around. So that is my Halloween bolo book. If you liked it, I'm sure you can find it on Etsy, maybe not Etsy, but eBay or Thrift Books or Abe Books, one of those resellers of used books. So yeah, that is it. I appreciate your time. Thanks for dropping by, and keep it spooky this coming Halloween season. And may all of your days be full of junk and journaling. Thanks. Bye.